What's going on, Wild family? Today we're going to be diving into the 72-volt Magician Alpha. Now, if you like power, speed, and a clean design, then you're going to want to watch this entire video. Right off the bat, one of the first things that I noticed when I took this bike out of the box, I assembled it, is the frame feels much sturdier than I originally expected. Number two, one of the things that I noticed is how clean the welds and the design of this bike is. I mean, it is super, super clean. Very well made. I'm super happy with the look. There's my girl Callie. She wants to have a cameo role in the video. Now, in addition to the design, the other thing that caught my eye is that pearl white paint. Now, if you follow this channel, you know that this white with the black accent is my go-to. I mean, it's my favorite color. So much so that my house has this decor, you know, the white walls, black features, my car, my bikes. This is, for me, my go-to colors. And this paint, I mean, it's first class. I mean, it really pops. Very difficult to see on video, but man, in person, it is beautiful. A lot of guys like that red color that comes in this bike and also the wire bikes. If you like or have seen that, then you're gonna really understand what I'm talking about when it comes to this color. The other thing that really caught my eye is that this bike really leans more towards the high-end luxury type brand. So I always like to give a car analogy to my bikes, right? So this bike, if it were a car, it would be the brand new 2026 BMW X5. Extremely luxury. I mean, everything about it is screams high end, right? Really love it. Guys, let's talk about what you're working with the bike, right? I've already talked about the frame, but the key component with the frame as well is the design, that step-through model that you see. That design, the reinforced areas of the bike is done so because of the power of the bike, right? It's extremely powerful. It's a high-speed bike, so a lot of it has to be reinforced. So especially here, because we don't have that stabilizer bar that you see in the step over models. So that's one thing. But we're gonna start in the front, work our way back, but let's start with the tires. This bike rides on 26 by 4-inch fat tires, and like I've mentioned many times before on tires, I am not a fan of this tire, although it's much thicker than your average knobby tire. Now, I already have tires that I'm gonna put on there. I'm gonna put road tires because I don't do a lot of off-road riding. So I'm actually gonna put road tires on there. They're gonna be HEB tires from, you know, Allscapes. You've probably seen them before, or Ultraverse. I think they're gonna be the Ultraverse version of the tire. I'm gonna change them. The tires are okay. They're not cheap like we saw on the Floto Falcon, that it was super thin. So, but they're not the best, and I'm not a big fan, and especially of these off-road type tires, the knobby tires. Not a big fan of them, so I'm gonna change them. But it's not because these are horrible tires. They're just not my favorite. Now let's talk about the brakes. These are nice, big 203 rotors, right? They are Star Union quad-piston hydraulic brakes with an integrated brake cutoffs, right? If you look at them, the Star Union, and that's the brand 203 rotors. Really nice. I have to tell you that these are some of the best brakes I've seen on e-bikes. And they need to be, right? It's a big bike. You're gonna see how big it is in comparison to me. I'm 5'7", 150 pounds. I mean, those handlebars are almost to my neck. But when you have a high power e-bike with these motors that I'm gonna talk about next, it has to be, you have to have great brakes. So now let's talk about this Bafang motor in the back. It is a 72 volt, 3000 watt rear hub motor. They say it peaks at 5,000 watts. I can't test that, so I can't verify that, but it is extremely powerful. And it has a 200 Newton meters of torque. Extremely impressive. Besides that motor, the entire ecosystem, I like to call it, and technology behind this bike is by Bafang, right? The motor, the controller, and the display are all built by, for me, the trusted Bafang platform. And one of the reasons why I was happy to get the bike is because of the fact that it's all built by Bafang, right? It's a brand new company. There's a lot of controversy behind this company because of certain people talking crap about Magician. And, oh, it's a scam, etc. Well, there's the bike, people. So it's not a scam, it's right here. And secondly, it is backed by Bafang. And Bafang's been in the industry, if I'm not mistaken, since 2003. So very long time. Now let's talk about the batteries. For me, range is extremely important, right? It comes with 2 batteries, one in the down tube, and the down tube one, it's a 7230 amp battery. And then the one here in the rear rack, right there, is a 10 amp hour battery. Now, for me, the disappointment is the 10 amp hour battery because, you know, Wired has a bigger battery in the back. I mean, there's a trade-off, right? Because you have the weight and here you don't have that extra weight, but you have a total of 40 amp hours. For a bike this powerful, we're gonna see what the range is, because I don't know what the range is gonna be. It's up in the air, right? Is 40 amp hours enough for a bike this powerful? So we will see. We're gonna test that out. That's the unknown. Now, I'm not gonna talk too much about the display right now because I'm gonna do that as we're riding the bike. We'll talk about the display, but one of the best things about not only the display, but the Bafang system is that you can use your phone, the Bafang app, to do a lot of the upgrades. A lot of the customization is all can be done on your phone. You can also do it here. Again, we'll go over that when I'm actually doing the ride. So I'm not gonna go over that right there, but let's talk about the BMX handlebars, the grips. The grips are plastic, they're locking, which I like. They're thin, which I like, but I know some, this is gonna be preference for certain people. Now, I added the mirrors like I do on all my bikes. Here's the control panel, right? And let's turn it on real quick. Again, I'm gonna go over a lot of this stuff when we ride, but I just wanna give you a quick look. So we're in the bright ass sun right now, and I can see that perfectly. Now, I added this here. This is my horn. Again, I'm not a fan of the bell. I know a lot of you guys want that stupid bell, but it's been my experience, in my opinion, that a bell is useless, right? You may bing, 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 bing all you want, but it takes a pedestrian a second to realize that it is a bell and that it is a bike coming, versus if you're coming up to someone, that's what you have a voice for. Say, hey, I'm coming on your left, or excuse me. And people, they react better than a stupid little bell. The horn is more for the car. You need to be heard in a car. This is a super quiet bike. You want to grab that driver's attention, especially if if you're on that bike lane. The most dangerous part about being on that bike lane is people turning right in front of you, right? Because no one uses a turn signal. So you want to alert that driver with that. Now, right now I have my camera, I have my phone mount. You have plenty of space to put whatever you want on the handlebars. You have your standard true tested Shimano 7-gear shifter here. You have a half twist throttle there. And then you have this. This disconnects the throttle. Not sure what I think about that. I've never seen it on a bike. But if you don't want that throttle on, you can disconnect it or turn it on or turn it off using that button. All right, let's go back and let's look at the lights. Oh, let me turn on the rear light up here. Okay, now let's look at the lights. So there's your tail light. I added these lights. These are also turn signals, right and left. These are aftermarket. I really like them. They have a nice horn, as you saw earlier. And then in the front, you have this little light, very similar to the light on the wired bikes. By far, this light has to be the best light I've ever seen. You're gonna see when I do some night riding with the bike, how bright that thing is. Really impressed with the light. Let's talk about the suspension system. In the front, you have a, I think it's pronounced Echo, suspension hydraulic fork. It's 220 millimeter of travel, 35 millimeter of reinforced inner tube. It has a lockout and preloads. There's the preload, there's the lockout. Now let's talk about the carrying capacity of the bike. First of all, the bike itself with the 2 batteries weighs 135 pounds. Not light, people. It's a very heavy bike. It has a 450 pound, I believe it is. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, it has a 450 pound load capacity on it. That's a lot of weight, people. That's a lot of weight.